Hi, my brother and I are here to introduce you to Sister Valsa John Malamil, who hails from a native Kerala, lived an exemplary life not really a long time ago.
But sadly, not many, even within our community, knew about the radiance her life was. First, we'd like to quickly take you through her life before she joined the Congregation of Sisters of Jesus and Mary, and then talk about the horrifying incidents that led to her murder.
Sister Valsa was born on 19th February 1958. Her parish was the famous St. George Foreign Church, Edapally.
And from what we read, her parents were religious too. And growing up, she was a simple girl, neither showing ostentation in dressing nor wearing ornaments.
But she was a girl with strong mind and determination.
While she was a teacher, she approached the SCJM congregation after understanding that these sisters worked in rural areas, mainly among the marginalized people of North India, because that was what she exactly wanted, to work for those who sit on the periphery of the Indian society.
We also read about the many instances where she was a perfect reflection of the gospel. Like during her training, she had the opportunity to interact with the Dalits. She came to know about their struggles, exploitation in the name of caste system. She witnessed their pathetic living conditions. She tried to bond with them to the best of her ability, live like them, eat like them, which included rat meat.
After a while, Sister Valsa started organizing the women and children. She convinced the illiterate parents to educate girl children. Her efforts bore fruit as many children were admitted in school, and she loved teaching them. It was brought to the knowledge of Sister Valsa that children were kidnapped from their community for human sacrifices. She followed the case and brought the real culprits before law. Sister Valsa didn't fear consequences, rather did what was right. At Sandal, she began organizing women systematically, enabling them to participate in the traditional village councils and other meetings.
One such notable protest was in the year 1997 when she marched in Dumka and sat in Dharna along with about 400 Santal women demanding justice for Father Christudas, who was the principal in a high school there. He was made to walk naked in the streets by some disgruntled persons in collaboration with the city administration.
But the incident that changed her life was the issue of Panam coal mines. The Sandals were asked to leave their villages and mine coal. But since this is a sensitive issue, we might not be able to get into the details in here. But if you who are watching are interested, you may please find the resources available online about the details of the incidents that involved government and corporate companies. Furthermore, these people were asked to disperse from their villages, and the mines promised them jobs.
Sister Malamil knew that the villagers would not make it once they were removed from the usual environment, and she tried to protect their lives and livelihood by writing memorandums, blockades, networking, and empowerment through social measures. By this time, around 33 complaints were filed against her and her supporters. She and the tribals were an annoyance to some people.
From what we understand, Sister Valsa was aware of the fact that her life was in danger, and when she calls her friends, they also had a feeling that something terrible was going to happen. In spite of this, she had constant pressure from the SCJM congregation too to dissolve the issue and return. I can only imagine how terrified would she have been in her last days, with little to no support from even within the set of people who should have stood beside her. Despite all this, she continued her protests and was ready to face any challenges that came her way.
The immediate spark that led to her killing might have been the wrath of a group of local criminals for seeking justice for a girl who was working with Sister Valsa, was kidnapped and gang raped on 9th November 2011.
And on 15th November, around 40 to 50 young men, armed with rods, swords and axes, surrounded her house, entered in, pulled her out and continuously stabbed her until she was dead. They just walked out of her house, and the police reached the place only next morning, even though they were notified on the night of the incident.
The spine-chilling photos from the scene reveals the intensity of such an inhumane act.
It is very disheartening to know that her struggles were not recognized when she was alive, rather came to light only after her death.
Sister Valsa found acceptance among the tribal community. In her quest to become one with them, she gave up the comforts of a convent life and moved into a small hut, even with no toilet.
Sister Valsa's death and struggles drew worldwide attention. Her story has become the touchstone for the impact of mining in eastern India. Many people from those villages have taken her life as an inspiration, and they fondly remember her as their Didi. We would like to wind up this video by hoping that you might as well take her life as an inspiration, and we pray that she may soon be raised to the status of sainthood. Thank you.